Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another lecture of CSS Grid, and in this lecture will be super interesting. That's why I wanted to record it today, because today it's a very bad day outside, and I really don't like the weather here in Melbourne. It's yesterday was 30, today is 15, 12, I don't know, and I don't like when the weather changes like that. But in order to stay positive, I need to do something. So I decided to create this awesome lecture. So we will learn about grid template columns. Enough about me. We will learn about how to use pixels, points, fractions, whatever you want when we define grid template columns. And also we're gonna learn about min-max properties and repeat properties. They're like new, like a year ago. Yeah. So if you consider new a year ago, maybe if you're really young, a year ago it's very long for you. But if you're older, a year ago it seems like forever for you, some people. So let's continue. Enough talking. We have a lot of things to do. Here, what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna comment this author rows because it's not gonna change much for us. It's not gonna do anything for us. If I just refresh it, it will just change a little bit, because the 50 pixels is not that we define in actually the height of the row. That's what we are doing. So now we're gonna even comment this part, because I promise that I'm gonna tell you what's repeat. And we haven't got that far, but that was just for showing you how this grid is, how we can define display grid and how we can use it. So here I'm gonna we're gonna create again 4 columns, but without rows. So rows will be implicitly created again, right? In grid template columns, we can here, instead of just let me make a little bit more space here for me. So grid template columns, I can choose here, instead of 1FR, which you will know, we can put 250 pixels, for example, and let's put it 250 pixels again, 250 pixels again. Oops, not that one. 250, not 25. 250 pixels. So you need to have a space between. Space between, not comma, will define that there are 4 columns. So if I save it now, you will see there each of them at the 250 pixels, but you can't see it actually. We need to inspect the element. So how we can do that? Just make that one, visible, and we can go here, and if I hover over the elements, you can see that each of them, they're 250 pixels and 45 pixels in height. That's why when I switch this one, it didn't change much. So now if I switch this back and if I increase it, there will be a little bit more high, but the width of 250 pixels, it's not gonna change. Even if I put 100 pixels, it will be 250 pixels by 100. So if I hover them, here it is, 250 by 100. So that is grid auto rows, but we don't do that now. We will deal with that later. This is how you can do this. So also what we can do, we can change them. If we want explicitly explicitly tell that this row, the second row, I want to be, for example, 200. Let's make it smaller. The third row, let's make it 300. So you can change it. This is your layout. Remember, this is your and here we're gonna put 450, and this probably will stretch. So 300 and 200 is 500, and there 700, that's 1,200, right? So that is how you can do it. So here is 250, 200, 300, 450, right? So that is how you can define your own columns with their own width. So also what we can discuss here is this part, that it can be, you can use pixels, points, percentage, amps, rams, fractions, so whatever you want. But what I would ideally use most of the time we will use is fraction. So one fraction, so you will see like this. We can change this one, by the way. I'm just gonna comment this part again, and maybe I should copy it before, but so you can say that you want one fraction like that. So one fraction, if I save it, it will be super bad here, right? So it will create 14 different rows, because one fraction means fraction unit is better than percentage actually, because it has its own margins and paddings are applied by default, so they're inbuilt in this unit. So when we say a fraction, means that, remember that we have done flexbox, we say grow as much as possible. So one fraction unit means that this one it can stretch as the width of the container as much as it can possibly be. So here if I put 1FR, 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 if I want only three columns to be 1FR, so it will be like 33.3%. They will be all like 33.3%, right? So they are actually 640, 640, but that's if you do it in the percentage, you can do it same. I'm just gonna show you that it's gonna be, you're gonna get exactly the same result if you put percentage here. So as I told you, you can put percentage, so it changed only a little bit because there is a little bit gap now, because it's not 640 and in the moment 633, right? So that's why you need to put 3333.3333 at the end. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So you can put fractions, you can put pixels, you can put m's, rems, whatever you want here. But the best way is to do with, for example, for fractions. If I want, so you can achieve here, you can say fractions will occupy the remaining space that is available. Why I'm saying that the remaining space, for example, if I put here, I'm just gonna copy this one, I'm just gonna print that one, I'm just gonna remaining here, it's not very nicely spelled. So if I put it here, let's put it one fraction again, and I'm just gonna comment this part, and it will be like this, 4 fractions, and if we go, they're 480 each of them. But what if I want to do, for example, 250 pixels, 400 pixels, and now I have one fraction and one fraction. So I'm defining that the first one is 250 pixels, the other one is 400, and the rest, they are dividing this one 635 and 635, that's 1,300. So if you divide it by half, or something like that, 1,360 maybe. So if you divide it by half, that's why this number 3, the column number 3, takes the half, and this takes the half of the space. So that's pretty much it about fractions. So we created first. I'll teach you how you can create with repeat, but repeat we will talk about repeat a little bit later. So now what we can do is also we can, instead of one fraction, you can put 2 fraction. So now 2 fractions is twice as big as the column of the 1 fraction. So if I show you this one, I'm just gonna comment this part. I'm just gonna copy, because you can refer to this one and you can see how we progress from starting from here and get it here, right? So I'm gonna leave it 250, 250, or what I can do, I can just change 1FR, and what I want to do is something in the middle to be 2FR and the other one to be 1FR again. Or we can do 2FR, so these two to be identical, and these two will take up twice as space as the one on the left and on the right. You can see that the left is 320 pixels. Even the number 8 is 320 pixels, but number 7, sorry, number 2, well, yeah, actually number 2 will be 640, and number 3 will be 640. So that's why I'm saying 2 fractional unit, it will be twice big of the size of this column, because we are defining the second column to be 2 fractional unit. We can just say it 1 fractional unit and this to be 2 fractions only. So that will say that this is only will be twice as big of this one. So number 2 is 384 and the other one is 678, right? So if you divide 678 divided by 2, you will get this one. You will get 384. So 2FR or 3FR will take as much as space, and it will be 2 or 3 times, depending on the number you put here, it will be bigger than 1FR, right? And so it will occupy as twice as much space than 1FR of the available of the wrapper. So we have the wrapper or a container of that class. So now, as I told you that we can mix them, let's do a mixture of them. Let's put it like this. I'm just gonna comment. Sorry guys, I'm commenting everything, but let's put a mixture. You know how to use a mixture of this one. So, but we can do like 25%. Then we can put 1FR, 1FR, right? You can put pixels, you can put whatever you want here. And that's how you're gonna do. So 25%, and they will be pretty much identical. Why I'm saying identical? The reason why I put 25%. So if you divided this container, length of the container or width of the container by 1, 2, 3, 4, that will be 25%, right? So that's why I put 25%, because 25% will occupy similar, or if not same, as 1FR, because we have 3 1FR and they will be equally distributed in the container. So we have 3 480 and the other one is 25%, but because it's 25% means, so if I change it to 20%, then it will be, you will see the difference. This will not be any more same. So this one will be, the first one will be 380 and the other ones will be 512, right? 512. So that's the difference. So you can mix. Let's put it here, and you can say you can mix pixels, percentage, amps, fractions in the grid template columns like that. So I think we are good with this part. So you know how to define grid template columns. You can put as much as columns if you want. If you want a 6, if you want a 10, you can put it 10. But we will discuss how we can deal with the bigger numbers. So like this, 4, it's all good. But when you have 6, 7, 8, we have to find another solution that will be shorter. But before doing that, let's talk about min-max. So now I'm just gonna make it min-max. And this min-max property has its two attributes inside. The first one is min, the second one is max. And you will see what I'm trying to do. Now, we can define grid template columns again. I'm just gonna comment this part, and I'm gonna put it here. So grid template columns, and I will just put 1 fraction here. In the middle, I want min-max, and we can put 25%, and we can put max content. So this, what does this mean? So min-max, as I told you, first part, this 25% is the minimum, and the maximum content is the max in our case. So the first column will be 1FR, right? Then the second column is min-max. We define a min-max property. So first parameter here is min size, and the second parameter is the value of the maximum, how much maximum it can be, right? This parameter here, and it's saying max content. So in short, the column 2 will be at minimum 25%, no matter what, and the maximum will be as the max content defined in that column. Right? In our case, we only have, I'm just going to save it, and you will see that there will be no much difference. They will be all equal because I've put 25% at the minimum. Also, I told you that maximum content in our case, what's number 2 for example? Number 2 in our case is only this string here, right? This character here. But what we can do, we can change this one and see that number 2 we can say is the new min max. We can put up more text here, min max property, and I will say min max, and I will put 25% max content. So now if I save it, this one will not be 25% because we said it can be minimum 25%, but depends on the max content of the column of the element. So we have now more content here. It's not only the number 2. So let's see what will happen. So here it is. Now we have the min-max property, and that, my ladies and gentlemen, is 693, and the rest of them, because they're 1FR, will be 408.7. The other one will be 408.7, 408.7. That's it. So again, the first one is the minimum. What is the minimum that this can be? In our case, 25%. And what's the maximum? Maximum, it can be the maximum content of that column. So we have for example, we have the maximum is for example, now the maximum is 2 is the maximum property of, and that's why it's stretched. Even if we cut something here, now I think so we'll still be in that 480. Now we're still in that 25%. But if we start adding, we're just growing, and we will be more than 25%, like this. So we have 480 still. 480. Let's add more content. Sorry. Let's see. We're still 480. One couple of more. I think now we're not still 8. We are just now 517, right? So this is min-max property, and I think we are done for today, or we can continue working a little bit more, or maybe we can do just repeat a little bit, right? We can just do a repeat a little bit, and we are done with the min-max. So that's pretty much it. And also one more thing I forgot. So there is another one called grid-tamplate-columns, 1FR. We can just copy this one. So this one is min-max again, and here will be min and min content. And here, instead of max content, we are defining a min content. And what does this mean? So the first column will be 1FR, the second column is the min-max property, right? And the first is the min size, the second is the value of the min content. So in short, the number 2 column will be minimum 25, but the min content will be defined how this can be. So let's just change it. So see, we are saying that 25%, and it's 480. So doesn't matter how much content we're gonna provide here. It will be 25. It will be, sorry, but now yes, it's max content, but you can change it to min content, or you can put another column here and saying 2 or 6 is the new min max property, min max 25, and min content. So now the min content is different. It's not 25% anymore. We're saying that the maximum will be 25% and the minimum will be the min content inside. So that's pretty much it. That's totally opposite of what we have done before. And I'm not gonna bother you too much with this one, so you can just check it in your own free time. After this, what we can do is we can say grid template, and we are done. Grid template columns, and let's, ladies and gentlemen, just comment this part here, because I don't want you to see this. And also I can comment that one just as a reference, and I want them just to be clean as before, right? So what we have done here, yeah, because we don't have grid template columns here, and we can say now we can use repeat, and we can put 4 250 pixels, or we can put it FR, percentage, whatever you want here. So now instead, if we have 6, for example, we're not gonna deal with this 6. We're not gonna do 1FR 250 6 times. So repeat. Now this is a new property called repeat, and it has its own pattern. Let's see it here. Repeat, and there is a pattern inside. So why I'm saying pattern, because we can define a pattern if we want. So we can say that we like the pattern to be, instead of 6, I'm gonna say 4, right? We don't need to repeat that one. And so the first keyword is the number of the repeats. This is the first part, and means the number of repeats. If we want 10, all good. The second part is the pattern. In our case, we have a 4 identical, for example, 1FR, and now they will stretch until the end of the container. The space will be equally distributed. But we can do more powerful than this. We can do something like, and now, so we can say number 1 here, like that. And number 2, but first make it common. So number 2, what will be number 2? It will be new, more powerful pattern. So what I want to achieve the same thing. Now if I refresh, it will be all bad. But if I want to achieve same thing with a different pattern, or with the same pattern, we can do this. Grid template columns. Still I'm gonna use repeat. The first one is the keyword. How much times I want to be? 2. But somebody will say, so now 2 is different than 4. How I'm gonna create 4 columns? But what I can do here is I can define, for example, 25% in 1FR as well. So what I'm trying to say, repeat 2 times this pattern. First column to be 25, then the second column to be 1FR. I've chosen this one because I want identical as before. So every column will have now 480. But it will be different story if you choose, I'm just gonna comment this one. So we created identical. Oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? Maybe I've copied something. So if I choose 15 here, and you will see the difference now. And if I refresh, so this one will be 15, this one will be 1FR. The second time that it will repeat, it will be 15, 1FR, right? So I got same 4 columns because this one, it's like multiplication. 2 times something in the bracket, and something in the bracket is this part, right? You can put 1FR here if you want, and you will create exactly the same layout, identical as repeating. So that's pretty much it for this lecture. I hope you enjoy it. So another thing that you can do is you can also use grid template columns, autofill, and what does this? Autofill, so automatically fills the space, and what you set and push them on the left, like, and here I'm just gonna say 1FR, and just gonna comment this part, bad boy here, and I think it's not working. I think it's not working because of this 1FR. So let's change it to pixels and see what's happening here. And I don't know why, but I think it's not working. So here it looks like this one, it's not working with fractions, and yeah, I haven't tested that one before. So probably you should. I'm gonna read as well, and I'm gonna let you know what's the story here. So if you put, this is like automatically fills the space with the set and push. What you have set and you push it on the left. It's like float left, right? Or it's like a flexboard. flexbox start, you know, push them everything to the start. So let's put it 250 and see what's happening here. Nice. And that's pretty much it. Let's see with percentage, 25%. Yep, it's working with percentage. For some reason, 1FR, amazingly, it's not working. And because, oh, it actually, it is working, but it's displaying here, it's occupying the rest of the space, right? That was because I've closed these lines here and I didn't see what's happening. So it's actually stretching and occupying the entire space. So 1FR, it's not a very good idea if you want to use with autofill. Always go with the pixels or with the percentage or whatever you want, M's and Rams, because now you can see it's like pushed on the left side, right? There is a gap there. So that's pretty much it. Take care and see you in my next lecture. Bye.